All right, Caleb, I figured I owed you a proper update video. I apologize, I should have gotten this to you sooner. Here, come on. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Good girl, Annie. So, I wanted to show you sort of a little bit of showcase as to where she is, what she's doing, and most importantly, to give you a video reference as to how we operate the dog, what commands we say, how we say them, and so that you can sort of continue this when you get her home, and it makes a nice smooth transition. First off, a couple things about Annie. One, she's kind of muddy today. She's been splashing around down at the pond with her siblings, so she may look a little muddy in this video, but it's because she's been having fun. And actually, that's one of the things we like to do, is we like to do our training after the dog has had a chance to run off a little bit of steam. Annie is very, very, very good at being compliant. She is a strong pleaser. Some labs are a little selfish and they want to work for themselves. Annie's not that way. If Annie does something that's not what we want, it's simply because she doesn't understand. It's not because she is being defiant. I don't think there is a defiant bone in her body. She's a very, very typical pleaser, which is nice. That's great, and that's why I really felt like she would be great in this role for you as a companion and kind of go everywhere dog. She just gets along with everybody and just loves to please. Very, very, very typical lab, which is what we'd like to see. She sits here nicely. You know, she's not trying to wiggle around and go all over the place. She does really good with that. So the things we're working on that I told you, we're working on the extended sit. That is, we want her to understand that sit means sit here regardless of what I'm doing. And so I'll show you how we're working on that and then how you can continue. I'll continue the next couple weeks, and then once you get her, how you can keep building on this. And then I'll stop the video and I'll go grab another dog for a distraction and show you how she's doing with distractions. So the bottom line is there are only 3 commands that I give a dog when we're doing obedience training. That is heel, here, and sit. Now, sit is obvious. It just means put your behind on the floor. Now, initially, sit is only going to be right here at the heel position, but that is the idea is we want her to be able to sit just wherever she is, just stop and sit down, right? Here means if you're off somewhere else, come over to me. And then heel means I expect you to walk beside me on my left side, nose in front, tail behind. So those are the 3 things that we're working on and sort of building on those as our obedience foundation. And really, you know, Annie has a great foundation. And so, you know, as you kind of develop this throughout her life, she's got a great footing and she understands these commands very nicely. And the bottom line is she's a team player. She likes to work with you, so it's all good. So let me show you a little bit about how heel looks, how we practice this, and how we do it just right here around the yard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk in squares. So I'm going to do an outside square and an inside square, meaning I'm going to do a square with right turns so that she stays on the outside, and then I'll do a square with left turns so she's on the inside. Each one of those requires her to cue off of me a little bit differently, so it's important that she understands that she needs to focus on us when we're in the heel position, not off smelling and doing things. So let's just show you a little bit of what that looks like. Hey, Annie, good girl. She looks at me when we say her name. Good. We tell her, give her lots of praise. Good girl. Annie, heel. Come on, heel. Come on. Good girl. Good. There you go. Good heel. The lead should be loose, as it is here. Good girl. We want her focusing on me, not sniffing the ground. Good girl. Good heel. Oh, no, heel. Come on. There you go. Good girl. And just a little tug on the leash. Good. And sit. And she knows as soon as we stop, she needs to sit anyway. Sort of pretty automatic. So she does that fine. And you can see, if anything, Annie is, I would call her a little bit more passive. She is not an alpha. She's not a surge ahead and, you know, drag you kind of dog. She's not, she doesn't do those things. She's just real easygoing, real laid back. So we'll show you the other way. Annie, heel. Come on, heel. Good girl. Good. Very nice. Good heel. Good girl. Heel. Right here. Come on, baby. Come on, come on. And if anything, I kind of have to like pick up the pace to kind of keep her, you know, be peppy. There's a bunch of pigeons flying around, so she's watching them over here. The other thing is what I'm using this leash is nothing more than just a standard leash with a little ring on the end so that it will slip on and off easily. So whenever I pull, it gets tight, but otherwise it's basically not even there to her. So it's just a very simple slip lead. Okay, so that's the basic heel. Let me show you a little bit about here and sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the here command when she's far away from me. And so I'll show you how we set her up to be successful with this by getting her away from me and then calling her in. Hey, Annie, heel. Good. Good girl. Good heel. That's a good girl. Good. There we go. Good girl. Annie, here. Here. Good girl. Heel. Come on. Heel. Come on, baby. Heel. There we go. Good. And sit. Good girl. All right. So, all in all, that's working pretty well. So let me show you a little bit about how sit is going at an extended sit. So we don't want sit to always just be right here. I want to be able to tell her sit and walk around her. Annie's actually very good at this because she's so relaxed. She's not working for herself. You know, she's off the lead here. Good sit. Good. So we can walk all the way around her. Good sit. Good girl. Good. And we give her lots of love when she does it the right way. Good girl. Annie, heel. Annie, sit. So here we want to sit her in front of us to actually create the sit command out in front. Good sit. I'm going to walk away from her 8 or 10 steps. Good girl. Here. Hey, Annie, here. Right here. Good. Good. Oh. Come on. All right, come on. Heel. We've been working a lot on this extended sit. Right over here. Right here. Good. And so she took my my praise command. Come on, baby. Come on. Here we go. Come on. That's a good girl. Good. Okay. So that's a little bit about the basic operations. Bottom line is Annie is very eager to please. She is very sweet, very passive, not a hard charging, difficult dog. She's going to be great for you in this role. So let's go get a distraction and see how she changes a little bit.